Make sure I sit up.
All right. Take one. Are we gonna do this in one shot? One shot, one kill. What's the deal?
Yeah, we're gonna try to do this in one shot. You know,
Alright.
Why not? Why not?
So what do we want to call this? What do we call this? Up, and that's how you start the show, huh?
Bad habit of mine.
What is that? What does that mean?
I don't know. It's skill luck.
But you like
hope I don't get a hangover.
You like putting your finger in bottles and hearing that sound? And take three.
I might have a little shit.
All right. All right.
So, it's our first podcast. So, well, kind of YouTube show, whatever you want to call it. I have no idea what we call it again. But it's very unfiltered. It's gonna be noises in the background. So it is what it is. I'm just gonna do it.
Where are we right now? We're in the Bronx.
We're in the Bronx.
We're in the Bronx. It started in the Bronx.
It started in the Bronx, and we started this in the Bronx. This time around, we actually in right between Bronx Zoo and the Botanical Garden.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's nice, peaceful, and a lot of birds. If you could hear them in the background. Which I enjoy. Actually, I enjoy it.
It's almost the 10-year mark.
Yeah. Well, we got another month.
Yeah.
Okay,
Next
cool.
July 31st will be 10 years.
Yeah, 10 years. Like it's been a journey. It's been fun. It's still being fun.
It doesn't feel like 10 years.
It don't.
Time has definitely gone by, and oh damn! I just realized that chicken. Where's that chicken from? Is that from Moana?
I have no idea. Oh, you know what? I think it is.
It's funny.
It is.
That's the chicken from Moana.
It makes noise. So annoying. My daughter left it there, and it's been there since day one, since I moved in here.
Nice. When do we see this? I guess releasing.
I mean, what do you mean? Oh, this?
Yeah.
I'm trying to see if we could just sometime next week.
Because it's
midday, maybe midweek.
It's middle of June.
Yeah. So we could do this like I guess. How would you like to kind of put out these videos? Because it's really just organic. It's really just gonna be us having a conversation between each other. How we doing? How's life? How's your weekend? You know, what's going on? What we doing next? Here we go and explain what NXNY is and what they're gonna do.
It's just a deeper dive into what we are, who we are, how we came about, and I guess just giving you guys a much more personal inside look at Xavier and No Doubt.
Yeah. And again, this is just raw, so
yeah.
Eventually we get the hang of it. We started kind of like getting in hands on like equipment and stuff like that. Some good mics that we could just hook up and But for now, this is just gonna be raw. So let's just
kick it off, man. What were some of your things that you wanted to kind
some of the list that I put down?
Topics.
10-year anniversary that we're gonna have. It's gonna be on July 31st.
Yep.
Which it was what? Our
first gig.
Our first gig. That's sort of our anniversary as far as first gig.
As far as like performing DJs.
DJs, yeah.
Because
kind of like what we did to announce us, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it took us a while. We went through a journey of coming up with names. We didn't really know what to call ourselves.
Yeah. I still have the same little moleskin that had kind of notes about what the name of the group should be. It was pretty bare bones, but I think at the end of the day, I forgot what or how we came to the conclusion of keeping it super simple. Because I know we were like, obviously we were designers. You've been designing for a while. I was like just getting into it as well, and I was like, oh, I want it to be like something like Design Bros or Art Department. But then years down the road, we realized that there were a group called Art Department.
Yeah. Which I was mad. That would have been great.
But then, like, just thinking about, like, what is music in Spanish, what is music in Russian, like, just coming up with so many different names because we were in the creative space. And then I forgot where we were just like, yo, let's just keep it simple,
I remember telling you, let's figure out something that's, like, less than 5 letters. So I was kind of having, like, that mentality of a graffiti artist. I want to go bombing. So that person that goes out and bomb all the gates in New York City, I remember they always wanted to go with a 4 or 5 letter name that's easy to read and looks big on a gate. Mm-hmm. So my concept was always to keep it big on flyers.
And I was always kind of like jealous because I was like, you already got a DJ name. You've been DJing for a while, and I was like, damn, I don't just want to be Xavier Morello, man. I want to have like a cool DJ name too. But then I was like, if you're not given that name, or if you're giving the name to yourself, it doesn't feel as authentic, or there's no real story behind it. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna call myself, you know, DJ, you know, X, but that's like so whack. So then I was like, you know what, let me maintain the originality and authenticity of who I am as a person, inside and out, because there's like the Eric Morellos, the Steve Angelos, the Sebastian Ingrossos, like they didn't change their name to be DJ Seb or DJ Swedish, whatever, you know. So, but I can't pinpoint when we were like, yo, let's keep it simple. Like, no doubt, Xavier New York. Like, I forgot where that came from, and then even the letters like the NXNY. Even in my notes, I never wrote that down.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I didn't write. I don't know where we got it from.
I remember, I think I told you, well, I might have said NX at first, to kind of indicate where the next DJs.
Like next.
Yeah, like next. And then at one point, I think it went from MX. Then it just saying that.
Mex.
Yeah, because it sounded like it was saying Mex or Mexican.
Yeah.
Which neither of us is Mexican.
Yeah.
So kind of like beef the purpose there. Yeah, but NX.
I gotta look back through that Moleskine that I have and see if there was anything in there that said NX or MX, because I don't remember, but I do remember like the sketching of the NXNY logo.
Yeah.
And then how
it evolved.
I remember like we were trying to come up with different logos for it, but I do remember that Drew helped us with the angling, like of how the Y's and the X's should almost be parallel.
Yeah.
But then I remember even like you had
the
a
initial,
grid.
The initial logo was like, it wasn't pointy.
No.
It was just straight. It looked almost like a box slant.
Yeah.
And I think that's when Drew came in and was like, I think it was because of that era, it was kind of like more electro to kind of keep things spiky or something.
But and I remember that the logo was like, even when we created the logo, it felt timeless because it lived on, it still lives on, like it's part of our,
I still get people that say that they love our logo.
You know?
One of my favorite logos you guys did was NXNY.
It's crazy, it's like,
you know? And I know we hard with each other when it comes to design stuff ourselves. So for us to kind of like create that and still kind of outlive it, and I still love it.
Damn. Do you still have those old NXNY files, like of the logo?
I think I have the sketches somewhere on my computer.
Damn. I remember the sketches because it was like you had it on like a grid background and so many guides to kind of make sure everything was like angled properly.
Yeah, because I usually nowadays I don't even. I just like sketch it and then bring it in the computer and do it. And that's how we came. Like we come from a design background.
Yeah.
So designing it, kind of coming up with the concept of who we are, what we're gonna do, the whole promotional thing, it came easier.
Do you remember how we connected at that office with Pie Printing? Like you were sitting on one side, you were sitting on the corner of the desk, and I was sitting on the other corner. So we were like, I was at what's his name? The guy John's, not the motion guy, but the flash designer that Drew had.
Yeah, I remember.
I would sit at his desk, and I think at that time he already had left. But like I was sitting at that desk, and you were sitting on the corner to the side, and I would always listen to Daddy Yankee or like reggaeton at the time because it was like 2007, 2008. No, I remember, but like I was listening to it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I had headphones, but like I mean, it took because I remember you working at the office for a while, but we never really spoke.
No.
Was it the music that brought us together?
It was the music. It was definitely the music. Because you would play stuff. And I think you would ask me, because you knew I was a DJ, to play stuff. Or what would I like to listen to?
Yeah.
And I think we just bonded a little more with just reggaeton. It's funny how we could have been reggaeton.
Yes, we could have.
You know?
But then came I started realizing that music started enhancing my designs. Little by little, we were listening to a lot of like reggaeton, but then it transitioned to like a lot of DJ AM stuff, a lot of 8-track stuff, and then little by little, it started moving into like the Martinez Brothers space, and then the Swedish House Mafia, and then like Chucky. Like Chucky was very prevalent in the mix, and then I remember I was like, back to like how music became more part of our lives. Like I remember when LB came into the office and fucking dancing, and he was just like. He put me onto that track, Vacaciones in Chile. Do you remember that song?
I do remember that.
10-minute song.
I love it. I love it.
To this day, it's still a great song, but it was very melodic. There was like it wasn't a fist pumping song, you know. And I remember listening
Rest in
to
peace
that.
to LV, man. Damn.
I remember listening to that, and I was like, damn, this is fucking sick, you know. But then I remember I was like, you know what? I want a mix. I wanted you to make a mix.
I remember that.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I had written down a list of different tracks.
Yeah. You didn't even text it to me. You wrote it down.
I wrote it down. Yeah, I wrote it down.
You still have that list?
Nah, hell no.
You remember what was on that list? Because we never really did the mix.
No, we did.
We did the mix.
Yeah.
But you came to my house.
No, the first track, the first mix that we ever put out was the one that we did at the house.
Okay.
Do you remember what it was called?
No, I don't. You remember?
I want to say that it was called the Ibiza Warm Up, but it wasn't.
No, that came later. The Ibiza Warm-Up came way later.
I remember I designed that cover,
Yeah.
but the first one we did was with the train intro.
Yeah,
That was
so
the first mix with the
I
train.
gotta look for that. I'm pretty
And
sure
it
I
was
have
just like that.
Yeah, I'm
And
pretty
then
sure
we
I
started
have
off with, I think, Yemele or something like that.
Mhm.
And then we went into one and a bunch of Afrojack stuff. That was the first mix.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have that.
It's still on. It's
pretty
still on Mixcloud. We just Google NXNY
Oh, I know what was it
Mixcloud.
called? NXNY State of Mind.
Yeah,
That's the first one.
that's the first one. And then we shared that.
I
with,
designed that one.
Yeah, you designed that one because you can tell by the typography. It's still very much the same. So I remember we shared that one with like Richie. We shared it with like Ariel. We shared it with like a bunch of different people.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, this is pretty good." And that's when, in my mind, like an idea sparked, and I think we were like, "Yo, you want a DJ?" And at that time, I mean, you were heavily on Serato. I mean, there were Pioneer CDJs. I don't know how old the CDJs were at the time, but we started with vinyl.
Yeah.
With
So
vinyl.
we had the turntables, we had the mixer.
It was straight vinyl.
It was straight vinyl in Serato. So we got like thrown into doing to just experiment on CDJs on the live.
Yeah, I remember.
Oh,
I remember.
Queens?
I remember the first time we played on CDJs. I remember we played a Ramsack party and DJ Brinca was. We were opening up for him, and it was the first time we had to play with CDJs.
Yeah.
And for me, even like a year and a half, 2 years into DJing, I was not comfortable
And
with
it's not,
Serato.
yeah, it's not like you had equipment at the house.
Yeah.
You kind of like understand the,
Yeah, no.
not just understand the concept, but just, you know, get familiar.
Yeah, because I only got
I didn't
familiar.
either, so
we only got familiar in the clubs.
Yeah.
In the clubs was where we practiced, and it was like on the spot. So
I was a little familiar because DJ Louis Jr.
Mhm.
I used to DJ a lot with him, and he always had the CDJs.
Yeah.
So I was already familiar with the buttons and stuff, but I didn't know how to do all that trick. I was still nervous with it as well.
I
It's
mean,
just
most of
jumping
the
from one thing
time,
to another.
I knew what songs we should play, and I would either find it on the laptop and cue it up and just let you mix it, because I was like, I don't want to touch anything, fuck shit up. You could end up doing, you know, something like that, just turn off the music. And so I mean, that's happened many times though too.
Start train wrecking.
You know, because you'd be like, oh, I'm gonna go to this, you know, CDJ, and then you end up fucking turning off the current track, and that's happened a good amount of times in the clubs.
Hated that. Yeah. I do remember one incident when we had it was DJ Sav party in Queens, and we had a DJ. It looked like a restaurant that was DJing at.
Where?
It was like an old building.
In Queens?
Yeah. We had to walk to there from the train. We didn't even I don't even think Uber was around. But we walked it there.
Was it a Halloween party?
I think so. It might have been a Halloween party. It was in Queens, a big...
Was it a hall?
It looked more like it might have been a hall, but it looked like a restaurant.
Alright, so what about it? So go ahead.
So remember we was DJing and we had to play off the CDJ, but it was not two of them, it was one. So we had to play with the mixer and figure out the music.
Damn, no,
Then
I
we
know.
train crashed the whole entire night.
Nah.
The whole night we
Wait,
train crashed.
we were playing...
One CDJ was supposed to be
But
a
we were
duo.
using Serato?
Yeah.
I remember a lot of times we were playing with Serato and one CDJ because I would have to kind of mess with the keypads to kind of speed
But
up.
usually we always have two.
Yeah.
But this night we only had one
I don't
in the
remember
mixer.
that.
It was
Damn.
like, and then you picked up the music, boom, and we was just, I don't know why we was train wrecking. I think the CD was fucked up, or I don't know, I might have been nervous. So we were just straight train wrecking the whole night, and it felt like we just had to figure that out. Like that whole night.
I don't remember that.
We still had a good night. People were still fucking having fun and jumping and shit. There's a lot of younger kids in there.
Yeah.
It's like a rave party that he did inside.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's not like nothing like the other rave party he had in the city, inside of a business building.
Yeah, with like it was the dance studios. That's probably like the first rave we ever played with Matt Cuba.
Oh, that was Mac Cuba, yeah. Oh, what
Yeah.
happened to Mac Cuba? Shout out to him.
Yeah.
Man, it's been a minute. Yeah, those were good times.
But yeah, so I think we're definitely kind of just recapping a lot of the stuff about the beginning stages of NXNY and the trials and tribulations we face. Obviously, I think in the next couple of shows we can talk about the what the hustle was getting gigs in New York and how you had to almost do like a bartering system, like you do a flyer, we get an opening set and stuff like that.
We could definitely talk about that and talk about how certain spots just kind of like wasn't our taste, but the promoter always wanted to help out.
And we could always talk about like the increase of how popular house music became after like we started to become
and then to talk about a little bit more about how after the smoke cleared out with house music and how it got less popular in New York, but we still had the same passion and we loved it. And that's when we started traveling a little bit more.
And then we still got stories about Amsterdam, Spain, Spain. Just talking about those gigs, Puerto Rico.
Maybe we talk about
Miami.
Maybe we could talk about how broke we got in Spain.
On the next episode.
The next episode. But yeah, definitely next episode. We're gonna do these very short and simple, and just a little bit more inside, more of an insider of who we are. And
so what are we gonna call this?
I don't know yet. Fuck it.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. But thank you. Till next one.
Peace.
Peace.